Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Xolisa Ncenge, and welcome to Dizzy World, a channel where we focus on social justice for all kinds of people. And today we will be chatting about the DA's second visit to the United States. The first being Helen Zille last year, I think about 3 months ago. And also would like to thank all my new friends from Solidarity and AfriForum who contributed to my last video, let alone that some were colorful in their comments. But why not? When we live in a colorful nation with colorful characters and colorful backgrounds. Simon Matadibutu, an IOL journalist, has reported on the 5th of March 2025 that Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, has expressed disappointment over the DA's quiet, week-long visit to the United States, claiming to support the country's foreign policy. Not sure which one, because they supported war in Ukraine and Palestine, and the government's position is peace. Speaking with the IOL News, Ronald Lamola said representing South Africa's foreign policy is the preserve of the executive, and the Blue Party, which is the member of the GNU, argued it is a credible advocate for South Africa's national interests on international stage. Very much interesting, given the differences that I have already highlighted. Now, Emma Powell, the DA spokesperson for International Relations and Cooperation, said, and I quote, "These discussions were aimed at ensuring that US leaders receive accurate and fact-based information regarding South Africa's domestic landscape and challenges our nation is currently navigating." Good people, kindly can we please take a listen to this clip.
Today marks a month since President Cyril Ramaphosa said that he would be sending a delegation to various countries, including the United States, in a bid to ease tensions between the two countries. This follows the decision by the US to cut all aid to South Africa, citing alleged land grabs aimed at Afrikaners and South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Now, the DA says it has taken it upon itself to amend the frosty relations. The party just concluded a week-long trip to Washington, D.C., as part of what it says are efforts to stabilize diplomatic relations between South Africa and the USA. For more on this, we are now joined by DA spokesperson on international relations and cooperation, Emma Powell. Emma, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Why couldn't the DA wait for the president to set up that envoy that is going to go and explain South Africa's various policies, including our international and foreign policy?
Morning, thanks for having me. So the DA's outreach in Washington, D.C. is ongoing, and our visit last week forms part of broader efforts across the South African landscape to try and urgently de-escalate these heightened tensions and find a pathway towards stabilizing the bilateral relationship. The President's delegation will, of course, go ahead. I believe it will be a multi-party GNU delegation. We're looking forward to hearing more about that. But as the second largest stakeholder in the Government of National Unity, we felt that in light of just how significant these heightened tensions are and their implications for South Africa, that it was urgent that leaders from our party got to Washington, D.C. so we could open communication channels and provide credible, accurate, fact-based information.
It's good to hear Emma Powell debunking AfriForum and Solidarity misinformation about land grabs and farm killings. But kindly, again, can you take a listen to what Nomvula Mokonyane, ANC's first Deputy Secretary General, says about the same subject?
We found out about the DA's visit after the fact as the media. When did you learn about it as the ANC?
We've known about the visit and as you say, the visit by members of the Democratic Alliance to the United States at the time when they were making the necessary arrangements. As you also may be aware, that they left this country as representatives of the Democratic Alliance and those that are part of the cabinet. And in this instance, it's a deputy minister who's not a member of the cabinet, who applied for leave and was granted leave and even informed the president. So he traveled in his own personal capacity without any assertion of representing the South African government, irrespective of them actually being part of the Government of National Unity, because it is a Government of National Unity, not solely with the Democratic Alliance.
I hear that, and it's interesting because part of what they're emphasizing is that, in fact, they were there as the second largest member of this GNU, suggesting, of course, that they're speaking on behalf of South Africans who put them in that position. Is your response then that, in fact, this wasn't sanctioned by the GNU, no less the ANC, which leads the pack?
Oh, well, they don't need to be sanctioned by us. They never even asked to go and represent the South African government, just as we do going to Palestine, just as we do going to the United States, just as we do going to Cuba, just as we do as the party, traveling and presenting our own positions. The DA is entitled to that. What is actually unfortunate is that they've gone to an extent of affirming what some of us have always said, that they are a racist organization. Because here they say we passed 3 laws that are influenced by racial discrimination, when in actual fact, the laws passed by the South African government pre and post the 30 years of democracy, including the 7th administration, are laws that seek to redress a very arrogant crime against humanity system, apartheid, and
please, good people, let's not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. But my AfriForum and Solidarity friends are not subscribing. And please, my new friends, it helps a lot to do so. It is difficult to understand what is going down in the GNU when the DA is pushing their own diplomatic parallel process, undermining the ANC government. But what is clear is that things are not looking good. Some would say there is trouble in paradise. And this comes after the DA, John Steenhuisen, urged US President Donald Trump's administration to reconsider the threats to cut crucial aid funding in response to the Land Expropriation Act, saying, "It is not true that the act allows the land to be seized by the state arbitrarily," meaning AfriForum and Solidarity were not telling the truth again about the confiscation of Afrikaner land and farm killings. And now, my take on the topic. Really, I think humans are living in a dizzy world. Why? I'm saying this because the ANC First Deputy Secretary General says we have known about the DA's visit to the US. At a time, they were making necessary arrangements. But the minister, Ronald Lamola, seems shocked by the visit. I'm not saying he didn't know, but he seemed shocked. And the International Relations Minister, Ronald Lamola's spokesperson, Chaspin Piri, says the minister made it clear that there are only two people who can represent South Africa on international relations, and that's the president and himself, nobody else. The DA went there on their own, and whatever they achieved cannot be attributed to the Republic, Piri said. To be honest, in my view, there was no reason to get into bed with the anti-transformation DA in the first place. Now on geopolitics, South Africa is accused by the United States of causing up to China, Russia, and Iran, endangering US national security interests. But to our surprise, we are seeing the US now causing up to Russia, even asking Russia to facilitate a meeting between the US and Iran. And last year, US total goods trade with China estimated at $582.4 billion. That's in 2024, meaning they are trading with China. So there is nothing wrong with them when they have whatever relations with China. So if we listen to those who are crossing the oceans and believing that our foreign policy should be dictated elsewhere, I think we must think again, because we are a sovereign state and no country should impose itself on our affairs. As for race relations, South Africans of all cultures must just chill. There is no reason to panic or for special treatment for anyone. People or children must share the same country, the same amenities, etc. And there are no land grabs happening here. Even a blind person can see that. And there shall be peace and harmony, provided there is equitable distribution of the country's wealth. And lastly, I was listening to my friend Kadi Gray rejecting President Trump's offer of a refugee camp in the United States, saying they want to remain first-class citizens in South Africa. And that's very good, Kadi. Exactly. That's what black majority is fighting for in South Africa. To be first-class citizens, not last-class citizens. So you got it, buddy. And good people, this is how we come to the end of today's episode. And please click the notification bell, like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and see you on the next one. Cheers.